Hey! What's going on? It's Bill Burr. This is my fucking podcast. And Bobby Kelly set it up. Isn't this interesting? Listen, I'm going to figure out how to do this thing, and if it's already bored you, just hit the stop button. Why are you doing that? Put the click button down.
I was looking actually at the bottom of the podcast on your MySpace page.
At the bottom of my page. Okay, at the bottom. At the what? At the bottom of my page, right underneath.
No. Listen, right underneath the podcast.
Right.
They can hit subscribe.
Oh, right underneath the podcast, you can hit subscribe.
So that will go right to your. Anytime there's a new podcast.
Anytime there's a new podcast, it'll go right to you where you're at.
There's a new one.
That's what's going to happen. That's going to help fill the void. All right, this is fucking horrific, but you know, this is the beginning of something mediocre. So I want you guys to tune in. All right. Now what do? I hit pound. Okay, pound. So then some other douchebag, he ends up writing. This is how empty my life is. I don't even have another person on my podcast, and I'm reading your comments on YouTube. But you know what? You're listening to this shit, aren't you? You're sitting in your cubicle. You're trying to have a look on your face like you're actually doing your fucking job. But you know, and I know, that you're not doing your job, are you? You're just sitting there, killing time. Wait, when do you get out? Actually, what are you doing right fucking now? You waiting for your first break of the day? You waiting for lunch hour? You're trying to do that extra break? Like you'd have to leave your desk to have an extra break. Yeah. Sound like you're taking a shit or something like that, but then you wouldn't be listening to this. Okay, I don't know. Maybe you're home. What the fuck are they talking about? Oh, yeah, so some other dude ends up writing, that's the funny thing about Seattle. Like, you can tell that they built this place right around the whole, hey, we're going to colonize the moon someday. Let's have some fucking tang. Period. Which was, I believe, about 6 months before Kennedy got his head blown off, which would put that, mid-63. I'm just making this shit up, people. I have no fucking idea. I wasn't around when they tried to design Seattle. I don't pretend to know about Seattle. And I certainly didn't appreciate Tom Hanks in his little chick flick movie that he made about this place. And if I ever fucking see Tom Hanks, all right, I'm going to tell him what I think about what the hell he did up here in Seattle. All right, I didn't see the movie. It just looked like When Harry Met Sally in Seattle. And I like New York better. So, go fuck yourselves. But if you live in Seattle, please come out to my show. Yeah, I am begging you. Because there's 48 fucking comedians in Seattle this weekend. Hey, what's up? Thank you for, I never know how to start these fucking things. Welcome to my MySpace page and my podcast. I'm trying to keep people updated because people keep sending me emails, breaking my balls. Dude, when are you going to put up another podcast? I don't know. I don't know what the fuck to tell you. Anyways, what else? Oh, I put new video up, too, for everybody sending me emails going, dude, why don't you put up some new fucking video? Why don't you make some video of the fucking jokes that you just wrote, so then when you come to my town, I go see them, and then they're fucking old. And then I come up and I say, why didn't you have any new material? I did have fucking new material, you stupid cunt. You just wanted to see it before I came to town. Right? Now, who wants to have that confrontation after a show? Okay? I'm just fucking around. I have a good time in all these cities. Why am I acting like I come from money? I don't. And the last news I have going on in my life is I am moving from New York City to Los Angeles, California, sometime in September. I'm making the big move here because I think I've done everything that I can do here. How many times can you audition for Law and Order? It's like I did it. I realize there's 58 different Law and Orders, but do I really need to have a part on each one of them that involves me jogging with 2 lines that I actually butchered? I got 6 emails, and they wanted to know when my HBO special was going to be available on DVD. I have no control over that, So until they release it, this is the next best thing. It was recorded on the Rich Bitch tour when I was out with Charlie Murphy and Donnell Rawlings when we were doing the Chappelle show, or at least we thought we were, because it never came back, which is a reoccurring theme if you look at my resume. Jesus, I'm like extra negative today. All right, yeah, so that's going to be in stores. Please go out and buy it, and then bring it out to a show that I'm at, and I'll sign it for you, or you can frisbee it off my fucking head. You know, do whatever you want to do, because once you buy it, okay, I got my points, all right? I got my 40 cents, and that's in my bank account, and I can use that to buy the Band-Aid to patch up my fucking huge forehead after you throw it at me. And if you're lucky enough, in the corner of the CD hits my forehead, because that's the part that does the damage, unless you want to go hardcore and, you know, break the CD in half and go for the jugular. But, you know, with 9/11, I don't think you're going to get anywhere near me with the unbelievable security that is at comedy clubs. And anybody who's ever worked in a comedy club knows I'm fucking joking. This is comedy club security, if I can go off on a tangent here, is the worst fucking security ever. Whenever they kick somebody out, this is their idea of kicking somebody out. They fucking take the guy and they put him just outside the door of the club. And they don't say, hey, we called the cops, so you got to leave. They just put him on the other side of the door. They don't lock the door. They just put him on the other side of the door. And they're like, well, I guess we took care of that. And then they walk away. All right? And then after the show, I'm selling my CD, and who's standing there? The same coked-up, mullet fucking douchebag who was threatening to kick the shit out of me 20 minutes before. Happens every time. Oh, yeah, so I'm trying to find a car. If anybody can recommend a car, I don't know what to do. I'm either going to buy a hybrid or I'm going to buy a 65 Buick Riviera, because that's how I'm handling the environment. Either I'm going to help it or I'm going to rape it. Okay, but I'm not going to do one of these, you know, middle ground, buy a Honda Accord or some shit. I want people to be disgusted when they see my car. Either I drive by in a hybrid and they're like, oh, what a fag. Why don't you go fucking spoon a maple tree? Or if I drive by in a Mustang, I want people who don't like the torture of animals to be throwing shit at my car. That's me, because I'm a fucking rebel. I'm going to buy a new leather coat. I want to wear it on stage just to signify that I'm a dangerous comedian. And it's going to be real shiny. And I'm going to have a prop cigarette that I never light. And I'm going to say, let me tell you guys something before every joke. I just got back from, where the hell was I? I was in Richmond, Virginia, performing at a strip mall. Huh? Right across from a Dick's Sporting Good. So, you know, I try not to come off as arrogant on these things, but, I mean, I know right now most of you are jealous. I believe there was a TGI Fridays across the parking lot. So, you know, I don't think I have to say this. There was definitely a lot of groupies, you know, and, you know, I've always been into divorced mothers over 50, so they were just coming two at a time, you know. It was awful. It was a good gig. I had a good time, but, like, you know, what the fuck? They still smoke inside in Virginia. It's like I felt like it was, I don't know. Look at me. I'm acting like it's the 1960s. I felt like it was fucking 2001. And, yeah, I moved my shit out here. I actually live out here now. And I got to admit, 90% of me is thinking this was the right thing to do and thinking this is cool. And then 10% of me is like, oh, my God, what the fuck did I do? No one's going to like me. You know, those loser thoughts. Look at this guy on my fucking ass. I'm a fucking idiot. You know what? There's no fucking rules out here. That's the only thing I don't like about the fucking highways out here. You know, back east, you know, all the way, you know, the further left you go, the faster you go. Out here, it's just a fucking free-for-all. This fucking guy was just past me on the right, doing like 90. Jesus Christ. How fucking awesome would that podcast be, huh? If I got fucking killed during the middle of it. You guys wouldn't even give a shit, would you? You'd just be leaving shit. Dude, you got owned. and you'd spell it with a P. I don't even fucking know why people do that shit. You get pwned. Is that like like fat? That chick got a fat ass, P-H-A-T. I don't know. Why do I get so mad that people misspell shit on the internet? You know what I mean? Trying to be cool, trying to have some sort of a fucking life. You know what? You don't. If you had a fucking life, you wouldn't be on YouTube commenting. Shit is in motion. Huh? You can't tell from the tone of my voice. I got shit going on. Look at me. I'm in L.A. driving a Pontiac something or other on my cell phone. All right? People driving by me thinking I'm making deals, but I'm taking the time to talk to you motherfuckers. All right? So why don't you return the favor and come out to a show and listen to my new shtick. All right? That's it. Everybody have a good week. Thanks for visiting my podcast. Listening to whatever the fuck you're supposed to say. All right, bye. So anyways, just to keep you abreast of my situation out here, because I know you're hanging on my every word. This is going to become like my little soap opera. I'm going to suck you guys right into my fucking life out here. I just bought some string at the hardware store. I swear to God, I got a good story for you. And if I didn't, I'd make one up. Jesus Christ, these fucking people can't drive out here. As I'm doing a podcast while I'm driving, like I'm not the fucking problem. Anyways, what the fuck am I talking about? Okay, so I go out to Santa Monica. Maybe this is why I'm worried about getting old. So in my excitement to go see this fucking football game, evidently I left not only the keys in the car, I left them in the ignition with the car running in this parking garage. I had no idea, right? I'm all excited like I like to go see the fucking game. So I come out of the bar and I realize I don't have my keys. I check in the bar and they're not in there, and I get back to the car, okay? And there's a note on the windshield from some fucking meter maid that says you left your keys in the ignition. She was nice enough not to write like a douchebag. Go ahead, buddy. Go. All right, I'll go. Sorry, it's another car incident. So anyway, I fucking come out there, right? I got a ticket on my windshield for $35 fucking dollars. I guess for being a moron. So I had to walk like a quarter of a mile, 0.4 of a mile, sorry. Is that a quarter? I don't even know. To go down to this fucking police station to get my keys. And I get down there, and the guy's like, oh, yeah, the keys aren't here yet. So I'm standing around. My friends are making fun of me. And then all of a sudden, up comes this meter maid. I'm expecting some 80-year-old woman. This fucking black dude with the shaved head. He looked like he should have been in, like, Predator, right? He comes walking in. And, like, the waiting room is, like, 6,000 square feet. It's just me and my two other friends. He knows they're my keys, right? But he's this type A personality douchebag. So as I walk up to him, he just blows by me like I'm not even standing there with his fucking Terminator shades on. This guy's he's a fucking meter maid, right? He's walking in like RoboCop. So he's got to walk up to confirm with the other steroided cop that I am, in fact, the individual that did, in fact, whatever fucking police talk they're going to say, left his keys in the car when they're running, right? So the cop informs that I am the person who needs his keys. So the guy fucking turns around. He's wearing bike shorts with a blue cop shirt tucked into him, right? He fucking turns around, and he holds the keys out, almost with like a Tyrannosaurus Rex sort of arm. He's kind of cheating it, right? So he's got to make me reach. And he's not... what are they doing? They're cutting into the sidewalk. Hang on a second. So he makes me reach out for the keys. He's not saying a fucking word. And in my head the whole time, I'm like, I'm not going to be a douche. I'm the moron. I left the keys in. I'm trying to be a swell guy here, right? Like how I'm painting this picture. So he's just holding the keys out like that. So I got to reach over and grab them. And then he's got to do, you know, like when you know you did something stupid, but someone's got to let you know you did something stupid, right? He left the fucking note. I know what I did, but this douchebag's got to run through it like, you realize you left your fucking keys in the car with the car running, right? Nice and loud so everybody can hear. So the only card he leaves me to play is I have to be a douche now, right? He goes, you realize you did that? And I just go, yeah, that's how I do it. And then my friend yells out, that's how we roll. And it's just stupid shit, and the guy ends up getting pissed. I swear to God, his neck, like the veins and shit. And then he fucking proceeds to walk out the door, and we watched him get in a 3-wheeled electric scooter. At which point we all bursted out laughing. I made sure I, exaggeratedly laughed so he could see me. I was literally, holding my stomach like anybody actually does that when they laugh. You know what I mean? That's like a bad extra in a movie. I did everything but, slap my knee. It's my own little way of getting this guy back. But you know what? At the end of the day, I'm the dumb fuck. Dude, I left the car running. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get me a pizza for breakfast. Honey, you want pepperoni on your breakfast? It's fucking brutal. All right. Burger King? Cinnabon. There you go. Maybe I'll go to Cinnabon. If you actually go to Cinnabon, that you should be put on suicide watch because you're just trying to fucking kill yourself. Anybody above the age 8 that would actually eat a fucking Cinnabon, you know what? Kill yourself. It's too much fucking traffic anyways. You know what? Let's strike all of that. Go to Cinnabon. Those little bastards. Hate these fucking kids with those sneakers with the wheels on them. The urge I have to just cross-check one of them. You know? If it wasn't for all this extra security since 9/11, I would do it. No, I wouldn't. Am I talking? I don't have the balls to do that. That's it. That's what it comes down to. Not that I have so much love for children that I wouldn't do it. It's more I don't have the balls. Oh, my God. Look at that ass on that girl. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. Some girl just walked. I'm literally going to stop the podcast for a second and just watch that ass going. This girl has on all white. Good Lord. Wow, I was just talking so loud, I just got some other guy to look at it. There you go. That was my good deed of the day. I don't know what to tell you. All right. Hey, OJ got arrested, huh? You know what it should say on the cover of the newspaper? OJ gets arrested. Comedians rejoice. Nothing will pull you out of writer's block like a good old-fashioned O.J. Simpson arrest. I'm a big shot now. I'm out here in L.A., and I'm sitting in a rented PT Cruiser in the parking garage of a Target. Huh? You like that? You could live this dream too, baby. All you got to do is just go to an open mic, tell some shit jokes, and next thing you know, you too could be sitting outside of a department store that sells bookcases made out of particle board. I'm into cheap furniture. I'm not going to lie to you. I like it. It's disposable. You can spill shit on it. People can pass out on it or something. I never think that when I'm in my usual ensemble. And what is it, you ask? I'm wearing blue jeans with a light green T-shirt. Got my foot up on the dashboard right now, trying to look as cool as I can, which is hard to do outside of Target. You one thing if it was like a Sears, I could pretend like I was into tools and I knew how to fix things, and I had an abundant amount of chest hair, which I don't. I'd say moderate, if you're curious, you know. For those 8 people in my fan club, yes, I have. I go about 26 on the left, 26 chest hairs on the left pec, and 32 on the right. A little unbalanced, leading to the right, but not politically. Oh, somebody kill me! You know something? I fucking hate doing this. I hate shopping, and I hate having to buy all this stuff. I mean, I can't even talk. I hate having to buy all this fucking shit over and over and over again. And I'm hoping this is the last time I'm going to do it. Because, in all honesty, how many spatulas can you really buy, huh? You know what's fucking weird? I'm really starting to enjoy these podcasts. I'm starting to forget that I'm actually doing them. That's how much fun I'm having. No, seriously, I'm just realized that I felt pathetic at the beginning of this thing. Sitting here with both my shoes off and my feet, both of them, up there as if to say I own this PT Cruiser rather than that I'm just renting it. It's sort of a steel blue. I thought it brought out my eyes. That's why I rented it. Not to mention I had to buy some particle board fucking bookcases at Target. Huh? One of the hot spots. I wonder if Mario Batali uses plastic spatulas. All right, are you guys even listening to this shit? Like, what the fuck is going on in your life that you're still listening to this stuff? Let's get down to fucking brass tacks here. I'm working at the Stress Factory this week in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Beautiful downtown New Brunswick. Staying at a Ramada. That's how I do it. Second floor in case there's a fire, but also I'm not on the ground floor, so it hints that I am somebody. I'm a little into the sky. Not all the way up, but not on the ground. And for those of you who are like, dude, what the fuck? I already have Emotionally Unavailable. What am I supposed to do? Fucking rebuy it just so I can get an extra half hour of fucking material? No, you douche. You can go on to iTunes, and you can just download the tracks that you don't have. Okay? See? I'm not trying to fuck anybody. That's not how I do it. All right? If I was trying to fuck somebody, I would have done it by now, and I would have had more money, and I wouldn't be shopping at a fucking Target for particle board goddamn bookcases. All right? There you go. Didn't want to get that personal, you know? The fuck do I got to do for you people? Open my goddamn checkbook? And what do? They show the Bucky Dent home run, of course, for the 9 millionth time, and they show, you know, a couple, 2 or 3 other clips, right? But did they show the Yankees, the biggest collapse in sports history? Did they show that one? You know, up 3 games, you lose 4 in a row, $200 million fucking team. Half the guys are on steroids, for Christ's sake, and you still blew it, and they haven't shown a clip of that fucking game since it happened. And it annoys me as a Red Sox fan because that was one of the things that I loved about us coming back. I was thinking, finally, after all those years of watching the montage of horror of all the Red Sox blowing it, finally there was going to be a clip in there that would make Yankee fans sick, and they never fucking show it, ever. They never show it. And you know what? I'm convinced everybody at ESPN is a fucking Yankee fan because they got this little shit-eating grin when the Yankees started doing better. You know what I mean? Just fuck. Why don't you have a shit-eating grin when we're up by 15 games? I'll tell you why. Because they're all fucking Yankee fans, and that's why they're based in Connecticut. They're trying to be subtle about it, but I'm not buying it, okay? They're a bunch of... You look at them. They're all with their suits. They just look like the typical cunt that sits in a box seat. All right? It's bad enough, you know, you got the fucking... just the slew of horrific redheads that have preceded myself coming out here to Hollywood. I mean, this is what I'm up against, okay? Howdy Doody, Bozo the fucking clown, Richie Cunningham, Ralph fucking Malph, that fucking douchebag from Room 222, for those who watch Nick at Night with that big, huge red afro, you know? And then the only guy who was remotely cool as a redhead, actually Eric Stoltz had a moment, and then, what is that guy? The NYPD Blue guy who now's on CSI Miami. Yeah, that guy. He was all set. He was going to, finally they were going to have a redhead who could actually have some sort of fucking dignity on television and not just be the fucking goofy friend who never gets to fucking bang Salma Hayek in a movie, right? And I don't know why I picked her. I'm not really into her. She's just all titties, just coming right at you. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, I like ice cream, but I don't want to eat a whole gallon of it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, why don't you take the titties down a notch? Something I never thought I'd say. Let me get back on track here. I'm just throwing that out there because I really want to see the fucking emails I'm going to be getting from people who live in the sticks. Going, oh, yeah, buddy, I just bought a fucking gun. All right, this shoots a Scud fucking missile. All right, it's got an umbrella on the side with mustard gas. I don't give a fuck. I'm talking about film. Nothing I've seen in film has topped that goddamn gun that Al Pacino had in the end of Scarface. All right. Why am I acting like there's people arguing with me right now? They're not. That's just me. I'm always in a defensive mode, and I just assume people are thinking the worst. That happened to me the other night on stage, and I caught myself, all right? There was these, I we'll say about 8 or 9 women in the crowd, and they were celebrating. One of them was their 40th birthday. So, you know, broads, they always got to be doing something that makes you want to slap them. They show up to the fucking... Okay. Here's story number 1. That I shouldn't have to apologize for this shit, but this is what happened to me, right? We got to go back a couple of months. Sit down, stare at the fucking ceiling as I take you back to about June of 2007. I'm working in Nashville, the Zanies. Another great name for a comedy club, huh? Zanies. We're getting wacky. Let's call it Zanies. Zanies Comedy Club in Nashville, Tennessee, right? I'm doing a show. There's about 100, 150 people there because I've been on I Love the 80s. And when you get on a show like that, let me tell you, people fucking come out in droves. All right, who's kidding who? They probably had 100 comps that night, and I drew 50. All right, there's a little honesty for you. But anyways, I'm on stage. I'm killing, you know, having a great time. And all of a sudden, right in the middle of my set, this guy, he just yells out, "Hey, Bill, yeah, why don't you do that joke about the one you do about women only making $1 an hour, blah, blah, blah," right? Just yells this shit out like we're hanging out in his fucking living room or something, right? So I look at him and I'm like, "Hey, buddy, why don't you go fuck yourself, because I'm doing the jokes I want to do," you know? Typical, you know, heckle response. You know, you just imitate the guy and you throw a bunch of fucks in there and you get out of the situation. Anyways, this guy loved it. He thought it was hilarious. You know, he's a guy who runs a company. He was there with a bunch of other people. I talked to him after the show. They had driven all the way from St. Louis to Nashville to see me. So it was very flattering. We all laughed about it at the end. We all had a good time. And then we all high-fived and it stopped in slow motion and they ran credits. And that's how that gig ended, right? Fast forward to Kansas City this weekend, right? I don't know, I'm wandering around this hotel, stumbling downstairs to go get a continental breakfast. You know, maybe get a muffin. I don't know, maybe get a bagel. Who knows what? Let's go down and check out the breakfast here at the Hyatt, right? I go down there. I'm half asleep. I come walking into the breakfast area. What do I hear? "Hey, Bill!" And I look over. Same fucking guy. Same fucking guy, and I think the same 5 people who came to Nashville, all sitting in the breakfast area in the hotel that I'm staying at, and they too are also having the continental breakfast, so maybe they sprung for the eggs. I don't know what, right? So they're all laughing. "Hey, remember us?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what gig?" They're like, "Nashville." They're like, yeah. I go, "That's right, Nashville, right?" It's the fucking Hey Bill guy, right? And he's sitting there. Him and all his friends, they all got these sweatshirts. And they all say Hey Bill on the front. And on the back it says something like the St. Louis Bill Burr Fan Club. And they're all laughing, going, "We're coming out to the show tonight, blah, blah, blah." And, you know, made me feel good that they want to come out again, right? So at this point, everything's going great. It's a little weird, but it's great, right? Whatever. They're showing up to the show with Hey Bill sweatshirts on. God bless them, right? So, I don't know what the fuck happens, right? I'm sitting in the green room, minding my own business, and all of a sudden this bouncer comes back. He goes, "Yeah, hey Bill, there's a group of people out there, they're kind of drunk. They got on these Hey Bill sweatshirts, and, you know, I just let them know that, you know, just to kind of settle down, you know, because I know you comics don't like when people yell out during the show, blah, 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 blah." So I'm like, "Yeah, cool, whatever. I go, "Those guys are cool, they're fine, whatever, you know?" So I do my show. It goes by, you know, have a good time. I get off stage. I'm selling my CDs at the end of the show, you know, whoring myself out as I do, showing a little leg, teasing the crowd, right? And all of a sudden, here comes the Hey Bill group. 5, 6 of them. They all got their sweatshirts. You know, they had a few drinks, and I'm expecting, you know, some high fives after the show, maybe a couple of goofy pictures. And all of a sudden, the lead guy comes up, and he's all upset. He's all upset with me, going, what's the deal? You know, we're sitting there, and all of a sudden, the bouncer comes up to us before the show, and he's like, "Yeah, Bill said for you guys to shut the fuck up. You know, he doesn't want you making any noise." Before the show, and I'm sitting there looking at him like, "What, sir? I never told anybody to come out there and tell you to shut the fuck up, right?" And no matter how many times I told this guy that I didn't tell a bouncer to come up
to the 5 people that I actually had a conversation with that day to shut the fuck up before. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? But, you know, he'd had a couple of beers or whatever, so no matter what I said, these fucking people, they wouldn't listen to me. I just kept going, sir, I didn't say that. And then they would just go, you know, I mean, we come out to see your show, and then you tell us to shut the fuck up. I mean, I'm sitting there going, dude, look at me. I never said that. I never said, well, the bouncer said you fucking, and it was brutal. So now it's all weird, right? They storm off with their Hey Bill sweatshirts on. Now I'm trying to sell some more CDs. I'm trying to process what the fuck happened. And the bouncer, I can't find him or whatever. And I'm selling a couple more CDs. And next thing I know, you know, this older lady comes walking up with a Hey Bill sweatshirt on, and I'm thinking, oh, maybe she's sober. Maybe I can explain this. And she just has her eyebrows down. She leans over the table and she just goes, I'm very angry with you. And then turned around and walked away. I don't know what the fuck happened. So if anybody from the Hey Bill St. Louis crew is listening, I never said that shit. I don't know why. I don't know what that guy said to you guys. I don't know what he said. I don't know if he didn't really even say anything, and you guys, I don't know, to use a George Bush word, you misheard him. I don't know what happened. But all I know is I didn't say shit to anybody, but somehow in the end of it, I'm the bad guy. So, sorry you had a bad time. You know? If I was going to do some shit like that, this is how it would really go down. I would have said to the bouncer, hey, listen, those people look a little drunk and rowdy. Do me a favor, just stand off to the side, and if they get a little too crazy, I'll handle it, but if it gets out of control, I'll give you a look, and then toss them. That's the way that's done. You don't go to a bouncer, hey, tell that group of people that was nice enough to drive out here from St. Louis and put my name on their sweatshirts to shut the fuck up. Why would anybody ever do that? So, I don't know. So anyways, that was my weekend. I had the beginnings of a fan club in St. Louis, and it was ruined. It was ruined by some sort of miscommunication, and evidently I'm the biggest fucking asshole ever. So, it was the most fucked up weekend. I was having the best time on stage, but fucked up shit kept happening. Like I went to the Kansas City Chiefs game. It's an overcast day, and I somehow still got a brutal sunburn on my forehead. That doesn't make any sense, right? It's overcast. I know I'm pasty, but the fucking sun is behind the clouds. How do you get a sunburn? Not only did I get a sunburn, it wasn't even red, it was pink. Like some sophomore sluts, you know those sweatpants that they wear that say juicy on the back? You know that color pink? I had hoary frat girl sweatpant pink fucking forehead. I couldn't even lift my eyebrows up. I had like a second-degree burn. I would just start screaming in pain. I used to do this bit about black boxes on airplanes. I know it's a hacky topic, but believe me, it was 7 fucking years ago, and I like to think I had a unique take. Basically, my joke was, you know, they always find the black box at the end of a plane crash. My joke was, what exactly do they listen to on the black box that lets them know what went wrong with the what do they really listen to? All they probably hear is just like, Captain, would you like some more coffee? Why? Fuck! That was the joke. So it killed on the show, and then fucking out. This is New Year's, okay? There's balloons, there's streamers and noisemakers, and this girl comes up to me, tears in her eyes, and she just goes, plane crashes aren't funny to everybody, and fucking walked away. And, yeah, that was a brutal feeling. Never did that joke again. So, I don't know. This weekend, I kind of got taken back to that moment. So it's weird. I feel like I had great shows out there, but there's this group of people. Who the fuck is calling me? Keep getting a goddamn beep. I never can go one fucking podcast without somebody beeping. So anyways, whatever. So that was my weekend. I have a pink forehead. I thought this lady in the front row had Tourette's. And you know what? Turns out she was just drunk. The one fucking time I don't go at somebody and it turns out they're not retarded. What are the odds? I'm asking you. What are the fucking odds?
Oh, and here's the last thing I want to do, because if I'm going to be doing these things every week, like, I kind of run out of shit to say, and then, you know, I go off on these fucking tangents. The guy actually, a friend of mine came up with this idea. Like, if anybody has any questions they want to ask me, just to give me a direction to go in these things, because I can't just keep going, oh, you know, I was on a plane and I'm fucking tired, you know. If you have any questions you want to ask me, anything from how did you get started, where's your favorite place to play, why are you such a douche, I don't care. Ask me anything you want to ask me, and whatever, the top 5 or 6, maybe I'll start off my podcast answering those or whatever, give it some sort of direction. So why don't we try that for next week? And why don't we, me, you, and those 4 other people who actually listen to this whole fucking thing. And that's it. Oh, also, I'm going to be redoing my website, thebillburr.com. I mean, I keep the dates up to date, but the pictures and everything are getting kind of old and whatnot, you know. So I got to, you know, I'm going to try to get some more video up there. I'm going to try to be way more active here on the internet. So I don't have a boring page. So I don't have a page that's as boring as the last fucking 90 seconds of this podcast. Jesus Christ, Bill. Learn when to get off the fucking stage. Brad wants to know, do you ever feel like you have time off? Wait a second. I can't read out loud that well. Do you ever feel like you have time off, or does everyone you meet expect you to make them laugh on call? Brad, you know what? That fucking sentence goes in 3 different directions. It's like when a plane's doing an S pattern because there's too many goddamn people in the world. And they don't want to go into a holding pattern. That's what you just did the I don't know, the sentence version of my fucking flight into Newark. Do you ever feel like you have time off? I think it's going to be about going on vacation. Or does everyone you meet expect you to make them laugh on call? You mean on cue, Brad? Brad, I got a question for you. Where the fuck did you go to school and learn how to communicate thought through sentences? Is that a run-on? No, it isn't. I don't think it is. Do you ever feel like you have time off, or does everyone you meet expect you to make them laugh on call? On call, like what, I'm a nurse? You asking me if I do like benefits for sick people? Yeah, I do those. I know what he's saying. Do you ever feel like you can just relax and not be a zany douchebag? Yeah. Off stage, yeah, I don't walk around with a lampshade on my head, if that's what you're asking me. If some established comedian came up to me and said that they didn't, wait a minute, somebody did that. Somebody did come up to me. That's right. Look at this Vietnam comedy flashback. When you're the only white guy in the room and you bomb, you really feel like you're bombing for the entire white race. And you're also reinforcing the stereotype that white people aren't funny, and it was just the worst. And I was standing up there. First joke bombed. I ran to the second joke. The next joke bombed. At this point, I have, like, dry mouth. Like, I can't even explain it. Just, you know when, like, concrete, I don't know, when it gets so dry you can break it off, and it's, you know that little powdered mist? Just imagine if you just took a whole handful of that and stuck it in your mouth. That's how dry my mouth was. And for some reason, no one was heckling. They were just sort of sitting there just looking around as if the show hadn't even started, which it had been. It had been going great for like an hour. And I went into my third joke in total panic mode, trapped in my act, just blah, 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 just blabbing on, and then all of a sudden in the back, this big black girl, she had one of those voices. She wasn't even saying it loud, but it was just a hot summer day, and it just carried throughout the club. As I'm up there babbling on in dead silence, I just hear her, clear as day, just go, I ain't laughed yet. And the whole place just started laughing. It was like a whole other show was going on while I was still up there in my act, and I was so green I didn't know what to do. What I should have done was address it, but I didn't. I continued doing my act, which made them laugh at me even more. It was absolutely humiliating. But I got to admit, I didn't really think about it until you asked me that fucking question. So either I'm over it or I'm just, I'm in complete denial. Hey, everybody, what's up? This is my 98th attempt at the Monday morning podcast that I do every week, which is why it doesn't end up calling. Who the fuck is calling me now? Jesus Christ, every time I try to do one of these things, nobody calls me all day. Then the second I start my pod, somebody calls. You know, I already have, you know, not an overly irrational fear of flying, but generally speaking, I have the standard, hey, you know, we're going 500 miles an hour. Wouldn't this suck if all of a sudden we weren't and we dropped from the sky sort of fear, you know? And it's just like, you guys are not helping it. What's the horriest thing a fan ever did to you? Oh, Jesus Christ. Some married girl came up to me, and as her husband is taking a picture, she's grabbing my ass, and, you know, I think she was to the right of me, so it was her left titty that she was pressing into my armpit, and, you know, she put her face right up against my face. It was just like, I don't know. And, you know, basically, I don't know what the fuck. Her husband's looking through the lens at the beginning of her wife trying to go outside of the relationship for sex. And he was oblivious. That was the horriest thing. Now, the funniest thing about that is a female would actually listen to that story and be like, well, that's because he's not giving her any attention. And what she's at, no, it's because she's a fucking whore. That's what really annoys me about whenever women fuck around. There's always a reason, and it's always the guy's fault. She fucked around on me. Well, maybe it's because she's not a whore. Maybe she just wants a different dick. You know? Does there always have to be some Mother Teresa reason as to why a female fucks around? But I'd like to say that's an isolated incident, but I'll tell you, man, females in their 30s, I don't know. Well, let's just say they're not inhibited. You know what I mean? All right. So anyway, so I go into the Mirage. All right, let's back up 80 minutes in this podcast. So I go into the fucking Mirage. It's a Friday night. I don't have to work, and I went and I saw that show, Love, which is one of those Cirque du Soleil. Is that fucking Steve Byrne? Steve Byrne! What's going on? I'm doing a podcast right now. I don't have time to talk to you. Steve Byrne was dressed very nicely in Las Vegas. I'm doing the podcast. I do a podcast once a week. What's going on? Steve Byrne, coming out of the Mayfair Market. I was just making fun of douchebags who just roll out of bed and they go to get groceries.
We're going on hiking.
You're going hiking,
Yeah,
and you have a smoothie. Steve Byrne is going hiking, and he has a smoothie. I think you're in my top 25. Anybody who's listening to this, please comment on Steve's page or what a douche he is. All right, man. Enjoy your hike.
Yeah, have fun at your podcast in a parking lot.
Yeah, well, at least I didn't fucking band with 5 other people from my race and put a tour together. Kims of Comedy. Steve Byrne is half Asian. In some reason that qualifies him to go out on the Kims of Comedy tour, this Asian tour. You know what I mean? He should be on the half Asian tour. He should be on the Ashamed of My Irish Side tour. Okay. So consequently, it's 2:03 Pacific time, and I am sitting on my couch, still in my boxers and T-shirt, because there's not a fucking thing going on out here. I actually spent the whole morning learning how to play Sweet Home Alabama on a guitar. And I got halfway through it. I'm like, what is this going to do for me? How is this going to get me anywhere in life? You know what I mean? What's going to happen? One day Steven Spielberg's going to walk into a party going, God damn it, I wish I had a lead for a movie, and then I'm going to grab a ukulele off of a mantle and play Sweet Home Alabama, and then he's going to be, that's the guy. That's the guy who's going to be in the next Saving Private Ryan. Whatever, I'm a fucking loser. What am I going to do? Okay, so
those of you visiting my page for the first time, people who just visited here, maybe you just finally got a laptop, or maybe you saw me on Law and Order, and you were sitting there going, hey, who's that guy with 2 lines running down a wharf, and he didn't even deliver them in a way that even indicated that he even knew how to act. I have to look up that guy on MySpace. Yes, I am that guy. I am that fucking guy. Welcome to my page. I do a podcast every Monday. I let people know what's going on in my my stellar career, and I also answer questions. People send me in questions, so if you have any questions, please email them to me, because I can only talk about suicide and hookers for so long on these fucking podcasts before it gets boring. So I don't like the MySpace calendar. It doesn't work out. So all the dates are there, and if I announce the city, that means it's there. And if you haven't seen it, that means you quit. You fucking quit on me. You did a couple of months, you didn't see it, and then you immediately ran to me for help. You know, and what does that say about you? You know what it says? It says you're still fucking codependent. You still haven't cut the umbilical cord with your parents, and now you're going around in the real world, and you're looking for substitutes for your mom and dad. And I'm here to tell you, Mister or Missy, I'm not your fucking dad, okay? So if I say the goddamn date is up on my site, it's up on the fucking site. So if you haven't seen it, you either missed it or you didn't go far enough. That's all those people who go, I don't see the Philly date. I don't fucking see it. It's because you quit in April. I'm there in May 2008. These fucking people are freaks. But it's a great skill to know how to hunt, kill an animal, and, start a fire without a match. I'm telling you. If half the shit that they're saying about global warming comes true, those are going to be some good skills to have at some point. And then where the fuck's Rosie O'Donnell going to be then? Huh? Walking around with his shirt untucked, telling everybody to relax, as everybody's breaking off into groups, hacking each other up. You know, you watch how quick she fucking picks up a gun. You know, and I bet she'd be good at it, too. She's got that crazy look in her eye. You know, and you'll figure it out when you go up there. But you'll more figure it out like the second or third time. The first couple times you go up there, I mean, half the time you're just like, you're up there like, fuck, how do I get the mic out of the mic stand? You know, do I walk around? What am I doing? Why is my mouth so dry? I can't see anybody. I mean, how the fuck are you going to deliver jokes at that point? You know what I mean? Just write 5 minutes of shit you think is funny, and you'll be fine. All right, there, little fella. You like that? Look at me being a mentor. Oh, how'd you come up with the title Emotionally Unavailable for your CD? Does that have some special meaning? I came up with that name a couple girlfriends ago. It was getting towards the end of this relationship, and my girl at the time was going off on me, just going, you don't pay attention to me. We don't go out anymore. It's like I talk to you, and I feel like it's like you're there, but you're not there. It's like you're just not available to me emotionally. That's it. That's it in a nutshell. You're emotionally unavailable. And then the second she said that, I started thinking, man, that's a great name for a CD. As she continued, you know, which that really sums up a comedian, is when we're in really fucked up emotional things, you know, going through a breakup right there, and in the middle of it, I think, that's a good name for a CD. Isn't that fucked? You know, if you ever wonder, well, like, that's what it's like, you know, a lot of comics are like this weekend, right? I had a buddy of mine called me up, this guy, Joe DeRosa, who I do a radio show with, and actually it's called Uninformed, and our next one is out this Saturday. You like that segue? Look at that. Look at that. That was a thing of beauty. Let me slip that in there real quick. The next episode of Uninformed with Bill Burr and Joe DeRosa on XM 202 is going to be this Saturday, December 22nd, from 9 to 12 p.m. All right? All right, so let's get back to the story. So Joe DeRosa calls me up, right, on like Friday this past weekend, and he goes, he usually leaves like, you know, some sort of rant, or he just makes fun of me. You know, he has some sort of energy, right? So he leaves this message. He's just like, hey, Bill, it's Joe. Give me a call when you get a chance, right, buddy? Then he hangs up. So he sounds like he really, you know, I can hear it. It's like he really needs someone to talk to, you know. So I don't call him back. So anyways, the next day,
Comes around, and I think, fuck, man, he sounded down in the dumps. I didn't even call him back. Let me call him back. So I call him back. He picks up the phone. I'm like, hey, Joe, what's going on? He goes, hey, man, what's going on? How's Cleveland going? And I'm like, well, I'm selling, a lot of tickets, and it's going great, other than the fact that I'm thinking about killing myself once every 20 minutes. And he starts laughing, and he goes, that's what I was calling you about yesterday. I'm in the middle of whatever the fuck he was. I was thinking about killing myself, right? So we both start laughing, and then he goes, you know what? That would be a great segment to talk about on our radio show, Uninformed. I'm like, yeah, you know what? You're right. And we started working on it. And then I just started laughing. I'm like, that's like a classic two comedians talking to each other. They both, somewhere in there, admitted that they're both suicidal on some level, and in the end of it, we're trying to work out the bit. That's fucking funny, right? You could say to a comedian, like, yeah, man, when I was 8 years old, my uncle sawed my puppy's head off right in front of me. I started crying, and I didn't talk to anybody for 6 months. And you know what your buddy would say? You'd be like, dude, you should do that on stage. Then you'd be like, really? That's funny? Yeah, dude, that's funny. Try it out. Then you go up on stage. You get halfway through the fucking story. The crowd would just be staring at you. And then you'd yell at the back of the room, see, I told you I wasn't funny, you fucking asshole. And then your friend just laughs at you. And that's what it's like to hang out with comedians. Amanda Nicole Smith was there last year and tragically passed away. So, I mean, if you're one of those morbid people, if you like to go find the bathtub that Jim Morrison OD'd in, but you can't afford to fly to Paris, that thing you're never going to get to, like my suicidal thoughts, come on down to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, to the Improv. Seriously, man, I got a whole bunch of new jokes, even if you just saw me, man, because I just made a DVD that's coming out next year, and so I burned an hour of material, and I got a whole bunch of new shit, and I'm really liking the direction my act is going in. I'm wearing a sport coat on stage, and I'm smoking a pipe. Please don't heckle me. This is a transformation part. It's a growth period as me as an artist, okay? What was it, a Lincoln with the suicide doors? Is that fucking theme again? You can actually get in that and listen to audio of the assassination. If that isn't the most morbid fucking thing, why don't you just go to fucking Elvis's house, go to the upstairs bathroom, and they'll play the audio of his last breaths on the toilet as he's trying to squeeze one out. Oh, man, let's not go make it. And he just keels over. You know what the sad thing is you could put together a tape like that, just say it's a lost tape, and put up a website, and I bet you can make at least 5 figures before Priscilla shut it down. So all you blondies out there with your tan titties, come on out to the show. What's going on, huh? Unbutton a few buttons. Give me a little show. Give me something to look at that week. Jesus Christ, I was just in Cleveland. She has really attractive women, by the way. You wouldn't think so. You'd think they'd be like, Rhinelander, Wisconsin kind of women, those girls walking around with cheese heads. Okay, you know what I mean? You got to do that shit. So anyways, thanks to everybody who's been listening. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, all that shit. And please come out and see me if you live in the Florida area and you want to kick off the new year the right way, strap yourself in, or whatever the fuck they're saying down there on the radio. I got a bunch of new material, and I'm real excited to perform it for you. So please come on down to that place where Susie Big Tits, or she bit the dust. Maybe I'll do her last breath. It's inside the air, baby. All right, thanks, bye.